Hi, it's Joy and I'm going to be watching Batwoman Season 2, Episode 15, Armed and Dangerous, which Luke was not, the Crows certainly were. It has been a very long 3 weeks. It feels like it's been a lot longer than that, and I am not okay. I've been very stressed about Batwoman. I'm feeling more confident with time. Like, when it initially happened, I was like, what if they, I was like ready to be devastated if they killed Luke. I think everything crossed. Please don't be watching this thinking, you sweet summer child. I think Luke will survive this. But even surviving it, it is something that is going to affect him. It's going to affect everyone around him. It's not something that you'll just heal and get through. It's going to really, really impact him going forwards, and everyone around him. And it's a storyline that, while it hurts, while I am stressed and scared and I feel sick over it, it's such an important storyline to be tackling because it is such a real problem in America in particular. There are still cases of that kind of police brutality, police violence against people of colour in England. Just obviously they don't carry guns as often as they do in America. It is such a problem that we really do need to address. This show has been so good at holding police type forces to account, and I'm really proud of it for taking this step. And if you are, I've never ever had anyone in my comments be racist or whatever, but if you are around and you don't support Black Lives Matter, or if you're racist, fuck off, basically. And I'm stressed, so yeah, let's go. Oh no, a reminder, you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon, and let's go. He so clearly had a phone. Even the way he was holding his hand was not the way you hold a gun, you piece of dirt on this earth. Oh my god.
To investigate the incident with Luke Fox and get your story, so run us through what happened.
You better hold this man to account.
Agent Miller and I know what I saw.
Do not fall for this panel of white men.
Before he could do the same to us.
Sounds like you should be commended for your bravery.
Oh, fuck off. There's evidence there was no gun, because did you find a fucking gun at the scene? Even the fucking car thief didn't have a gun.
We have to review the body cam footage.
No.
Dad?
Oh, sweet Luke. I hope his hallucinations, while his life's being saved, at least comfort him in some way.
Think that he did this?
Oh. They don't know it was a Crow shooting. Oh, they think he was shot by the car thief. Why does she have evidence on everyone? Why does she have stuff on Mary? Whose daughter is it?
Riddle me that. You think I won the argument?
No.
You think you did.
I don't care.
If you care about Alice, you do.
Your sister isn't worth you getting killed over.
It's not that is your opinion. If you care about somebody else, you care about what they care about too.
Fine. I guess I'm on my own then.
Look, you can advise caution, but if you're really this scared it's going to get her killed, be at her side. Or are you still working for others? Oh lord.
I may have said he was boosting the ride.
Maybe that was gonna get him shot?
Tavarov. I heard the one guy scream, "What'd you do?" at him.
Mm-hmm.
No, if that guy had just minded his business and let me take
No.
the car, I'd have been out of there. And he'd be
No.
You're saying this is his fault?
For being a good citizen.
It sounds like your beef is with them.
You're a witness.
How about not?
He's a witness. Take
You
him
should have minded your own business.
to someone. You shouldn't have fucking stolen a car. Take him to the authorities. I know he's a car thief, but
Because you have a choice to make.
Luke.
Bitch. Is that the agent who shot Luke? Russell Tavaroff. He was responsible for the massacre at the church. Crashed my
Yep.
face operation 2 weeks ago. I want to see how Russell does against someone who is bulletproof. Rest assured, I'm not afraid of you.
She should tase you and give you to the police.
Even here? Who is she?
See, if Alice kills anyone from this point onwards, you could argue Mary was culpable because she had a taser, could have tased her tied her up, done a citizen's arrest, called the authorities. That's why Alice can't just run around murdering innocents.
Came here to warn me out of the goodness of your empty chest cavity. You'd seen it earlier in your life. You might not be the monster that you are today.
Thank you, Mary.
As much as I hate you, Alice, everyone deserves love.
Mary is too good for this world. You murdered her mother, and her mother was not a great person, but she didn't deserve to die.
Not so easy now, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Innocent? I looked him up. Kid was released from jail hours before we caught him stealing a car. He broke the law.
That's what they always say, isn't it? Yep, he knew Batwoman was there and he called the crows in. Oh, holy shit, the crows use excessive force every step of the way. Pieces of shit. That's what they always say. They say, oh yeah, they did this minor offence, therefore they should have been shot. Like, and I mean, we know as well that Luke didn't even do the minor offence, but it wouldn't have mattered if he had.
You tried to kill me. But I can't help who I love.
I don't think this is a very healthy relationship, actually.
Or
My own sister. For the first time.
I know, my love. The reason your sister cased you was because you were a serial killer.
so chew.
No, because I want it all. I
Mm-hmm.
want you, and I want my sister back. And if you truly loved me,
Yes!
you would want me to have it all too.
Agreed. Agreed. You would be standing at her side, fighting with her, trying to protect her if you think she's going to die during this journey.
He's unconscious in the ICU.
Mary's on her way to the hospital with Desert Rose. It will save his life.
Oh, please say this is going to work. Oh, fucking crows.
Excuse me, I need to see Luke.
We're here on your father's orders.
What is Jacob up to?
Wait, how was Luke holding a gun?
Who was released from jail hours
Oh, for fuck's sake.
The gun found at the scene was also connected to a recent gas station robbery.
It was linked to an armed robbery, which means when Luke wakes up, they're gonna charge him for robbery and attempted assault.
If Luke wakes,
This is
there
disgusting.
are 2 agents stationed outside his door.
With a bunch of lackeys who will do whatever he wants. It was probably one of them.
A murder of crows.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How many times have you participated in something like this?
Never. I never knew it went this far, and when I did, I quit.
You knew it was broken.
Ryan, I didn't shoot Luke, so please stop
I
acting like this is my
know.
fault.
It's not. It's mine.
No, it's
What?
not.
It's my fault. Gave him hell for being a bystander. I called him privileged.
Ryan, you didn't do this.
You didn't, my love. It was the fucking racist prick.
In the way. So he can't die.
You... Don't know how much I'm reacting to this episode because I'm just feeling sick while also boiling with rage.
Why can't I just go talk to him?
Because if you go talk to the old man, that's it. You're dead. Your decision's been made.
Luke, sweetheart, your
There's no going
dad,
back.
if you believe this is real, your dad will be there for you when you have lived to the age of 607.
Well, I could say the same about you. You reflect well on me when my best agent hands in her badge.
Why'd you
telling me
fucking
disgusting
think she
it was you
did?
first. You quit less than 24 hours ago, and then you come in here and you tell me how to run
Yeah,
the operation.
because you fucking know what's happening here. You are a white man in privilege and you know the fucking truth.
I didn't question where it came from because he was guilty.
Put a rapist behind bars.
But it's the
I know
first
we did,
step.
but we also bent the
And how
rules.
many lives have we saved?
But how many lives have you cost? It is the first step of a slippery slope. However much you can justify that one step.
Thin air one. Once I saw the truth, I couldn't unsee it. So I'm begging you, sir, please.
If you ever want to be able to look your daughter in her eyes again.
Die.
If people like him sit by with a bit of a bad feeling in their tummy but thinking, oh no, well there was the evidence, oh yeah, he'd been in prison, then the cultures never change. It's up to you now, Jacob. I could be officially done with you. Any sympathy I feel for you with regards to your children will be gone.
You've got 6 minutes before the data wipe device activates. What about Luke? It's in motion.
Oh.
And so heroically too.
No,
Entire city.
This is so stupid.
Dad.
no, no.
Now, are you staying?
Yes.
Are you going?
You're staying.
If you wait much longer, that decision is going to be made for you.
Your dad will be there for you if you believe this is real.
How does a guy like that suddenly graduate to GTA, robbery, and possession of a firearm?
Thank you. Are you suddenly doing your job because you got called out on it?
There are nearly a dozen deaths. Agent Moore's final report indicated requesting the use of non-lethal
Yep.
force to subdue the users.
How many would we find in yours, Commander? What about lighting up Batwoman at Goliath Stadium? Crows have never stopped from using extreme force.
That
They
is not why
should.
I started the Crows.
It's what you've let it
We
become.
need to take a long, hard look at ourselves and ask if the Crows deserve to exist.
Yes, Jacob Kane. You need to do that.
I want your gun and a...
Or maybe we'll be just fine if we get rid of the problem.
Oh my god. Power-hungry maniacs.
Think about your life. Think about your choices because the crows hurt people. Like Luke. So just ask yourselves, who are you really protecting here?
Mary. Taveroff and his murder have the commander. He's not conscious. You need to stop them. I need to save Luke before these files are erased.
You need to do the right thing.
3? That'll kill him.
Yeah, what do you fucking think's gonna happen? Sophie should be taking this footage. Because what happens here? Put this footage out there. Oh, are you scared? Think you're going somewhere? We've got you on tape, I hope.
Thanks.
You need to do what's right.
Clearing Luke Fox's name. Your boys are trying to ruin his life.
I didn't know it was this bad.
Yeah, well,
Ugh, pathetic old
you
man.
want to do good. I get it.
Well said, Ryan.
I'm lucky that Batwoman was there to save my life.
What does this say about the Crows as an
Yep.
organization and...
While Agent Taveroff is directly responsible for what happened to Mr. Fox, I am guilty of harboring these types of actions for years.
I'm proud of him for this. It shouldn't have taken this much to get him here. He should have been aware of what was happening, but...
Decided to disband the Crows
Good.
effective immediately.
I can't hurt anyone anymore.
I mean, in America, they can all still buy guns and go out and shoot people if they feel like it.
Luke,
Yeah.
there is no Bat Team without you.
No. Come on, Luke.
I need you.
Come on, Luke. Come on, Luke. Come on, Luke. Come on, Luke. Come on, Luke.
It's so unfair.
And there is a whole mess of people out there willing to believe that you deserved it.
Hey, the subconscious
Because you're black.
knows that that is the case, even though he hasn't been awake to see any of it. And it's awful, and it's so true to real life, and...
So what's the blame?
Luke.
I wonder why. And I don't want to live in that world anymore.
No, no, no.
I want to be with my dad.
No. Luke. He hate that he made that choice.
Welcome back.
Sweetheart, you will have a wonderful life.
It doesn't matter how we get there, sir. What matters is that we do.
Yeah. You'd get more credit for coming there by yourself, but when it came down to it, you
You're
did
always
the
my
right
best
thing.
agent, Moore.
Is she going to recruit him to get Kate back? Because I can live with this.
The fact that I've broken into this parking structure more times than I can count says the Crows maybe weren't all that great at security anyway.
It's been a...
We're gonna do the one
Yes,
thing
please.
you and Kate never did for me. We are gonna stop at nothing. And we're gonna get her back.
They should loop in the Bat Team. Everyone should be on this train. So that episode was as intense as I thought it would be. The fact that people were saying, oh yeah, he just got out of jail. He got out of jail for creating like a public disturbance or whatever charge they gave them for disagreeing with the officer in the bar. Like, it wasn't even like he'd committed a proper crime, even if that was a real crime, which we know it wasn't. And I just think it's painful, and I am not the best person to speak on this. I really am not, and I hope I'm an ally as much as I can be, but I just, you know, you hear stories like George Floyd and they're like, oh, he just robbed the shop or whatever, and regardless, who gives a shit? No one deserves to die. I don't care if you've robbed a car, you don't deserve to die. You know, I don't even think a murderer should just be killed. I think a murderer should go to prison and serve their time. So, you know, it does not matter what the crime is. Even if they have committed a crime, they should be arrested. And funnily enough, when you find these white people out there who commit mass shootings, they get brought into justice. So I think this episode did a really, really good job of highlighting that, of highlighting the kind of narrative that is told around these stories, of the fact that at that meeting when Tavarov was having his like after incident report, there were, you know, 3 white men interviewing another white man about a shooting of a black man. When you look at the body footage, which one of the people was nearest the car? The other guy. When you look at the body footage, just there's no reason Luke would suddenly out of nowhere become a car thief, become a robber. And it took Sophie, it took someone standing in front of Jacob and being like, as if this is true, think about it, for him to even question Tavarov. Jacob needs to do a lot of soul searching here, but what I think is important is that he did it. He's, you know when I say he did it, I don't mean like, tick, he's a good guy now. I mean like, he took the steps that were necessary. He started his journey of acknowledging that what he should, I mean, okay, right now he needs to go and get Kate back, but ideally, what this will have done is created a ripple of criminals the Crows put away fighting for appeals, and my only hope is that those that they put away wrongly will get their appeals, and those that they put away justly will still be found guilty. But maybe some bad people will get out, but as long as the good people get out, maybe it balances, I don't know. What Jacob really ought to do is dedicate his life to making sure that any of the injustices the Crows did were undone, as much as they can be undone. For someone like Tavarov, he is the prime example of why guns should not be allowed in a country, because a man that entitled in England, like, we have the occasional shooting and it's horrific, but people have to go quite out of their way to acquire a gun here. You know, it's illegal, it's like a black market. I don't even know how, like, if I wanted a gun to go and shoot someone, I wouldn't know how to acquire said gun. Could maybe grab a knife and go and try and stab someone, but I feel like the act of stabbing is a lot more personal if you do it. Plus, I would be stopped much more easily than with a gun. And for Tavarov being a police officer, being a Crow in a position of power, there are men like him in every police force everywhere. Because I do believe people when they say there are good apples, but the problem is when the good apples try and do something, often they are blocked at every turn, like Sophie was. When the good apples, they're kind of aware it's happening, but they don't have any tangible evidence of it and they don't really do anything. It is easy to become a bystander to the bad apples. Now, if Sophie ever saw anything with her own eyes, she stepped in, she did whatever she could, but the whole system is rotten and needs fundamental change, and I believe that is true of the structure of the police force in America, probably here too, because there have been too many stories that are similar. Now, that doesn't mean every police officer is evil. I think people that join the police, the military, any kind of force like that, you have the people that truly want to do good, and then you have the people that like the idea of getting a gun and getting to have power over others, and of being superior, and I'm the police force. The fact that, you know, they view IA as the rat squad when IA are just there to make sure that there haven't been any criminal investigations and any criminal actions by the police. This has done a really good job of highlighting the dangers and the problems, of highlighting through Sophie that a truly good person who has the best aims and wants to change the culture, she can't, because she tried to. You know, she ordered Tavarov and his men when they went to go and get the cannibal snakebite people to use passive force, and they could have easily done that, but instead they walked in and just shot everyone. Even the body cam footage going away after 3 p.m. Like, in what universe is that a good system? Because what if Luke woke up and then no one else had been fighting and saying that footage was doctored, no one would be able to go back and get the footage? You know, it's just, there are so many little ways that you can help corruption along, and they really showed how the Crows had been doing that. And, you know, Jacob had been this man at the top of his empire, thinking he was doing the right thing, and utterly blind to the realities of the organisation he was ruling over, and now it's gone, which I'm glad. It, you know, it doesn't excuse everything, but I think it's an important step for Jacob's character what I would have liked is that he'd had some initiative himself a little bit here, because we saw him being like, but Luke Fox, you know, he used to work for my daughter, I know him, he wouldn't do this. And then Tavroff was like, oh well, better ask him. And Jacob was like, oh, you could see he looked like he wasn't so sure about this. And I'm a bit upset. I will never love him fully. And largely that is because despite having that gut feeling that something was off here, he didn't do anything about it. He just took Tavroff at his word. I guess he saw the body cam footage that Luke had a gun and was like, oh well, he has a gun. When I just... maybe that was just enough for him to put aside that feeling. But it took Sophie and then Batwoman. So it took Sophie for him to take action against Tavroff, look at his files and be like, oh, yes, blatant issue here. And then it took Batwoman for him to realise that the crows themselves are a problem. So I think it's a big step that the crows are gone. And, you know, we need to defund the police in the real world. Now, I will confess that I'm not an expert in what that actually means, but my understanding of what it actually means is, as much as possible, replacing police going to incidents with appropriately trained people, and maybe even have the police separated into like police that are trained in the social care aspect and police that are trained, you know, trained in dealing with mental people having mental break episodes. My brain, I'm sorry. You know, police need to have rigorous psych evaluations. Every police officer should have to have a regular therapy appointment so they can check, you know, like, there are just so many things we could do that would make the police force the force it's supposed to be. And it's not saying every police officer is evil when you say defund the police, but it is saying the organisation itself is rotten, which it is. And this show has done a very good job of showing that. I think the crows being gone is very good, especially as they were only designed to protect the rich. I mean, what universe was that ever a good idea, Jacob? But even that, like, we know the GCPD still has its bad apples. We know that that is still, the problem isn't going to go away with the crows. But the crows were a very highly funded, sophisticated army that had all this power. I loved Mary's just, no, because we're fine because we've got the Desert Rose. I do wonder how long we're going to keep the Desert Rose for, just because I love it. I never want us to get rid of that, but it does kind of remove jeopardy to an extent, because any character is injured in any way, you can just give them some of the Desert Rose and they're all fine. I do feel like shows like to have us on the edge of our seats about character life and death, so I do feel like it's going to get stolen or destroyed at some point. Alice? I'll get to Alice in a minute. I'll talk about Mary. Mary, I think for her it will mean a lot that her dad did this, because it's never quite sat right with her, and now she's kind of seen that he's capable of making better decisions. For Sophie, she is still dealing with, I think, reckoning with the truth of what it was to be a crow, but I think she helped Jacob, the fact that she was the one that helped Jacob find his way to the better, to doing what he should do, the fact that she was able to kind of lead him in the right direction, stand by her morals and fix this, help, you know, put the pieces in place, will definitely help her rest easily. And I think also, I love that they had her resign before the crows were destroyed. It would have been very easy for them to simply have Jacob be like, I'm getting rid of the crows, and I'd be like, right decision, yes, I stand by you. I like that she had already made that decision, that she was stepping away from it, because it was not a culture she individually could change, and it was not a culture she could stand by and be a part of. So I think that is important for her character. I am interested in where she's going to go next, because, you know, someone like Jacob, obviously right now he's going to go into the Saving Kate stuff, I imagine, but he is wealthy, he doesn't need to work for money, his character could do whatever the fuck he wanted. Sophie is not, as far as I'm aware, ridiculously wealthy, and she had a very nice salary, I am sure, but for her, I wonder what she's going to do next. Obviously she's going to join the Bat team, but beyond, like, Mary on paper giving her a job at the Hold Up, that's what it's called, isn't it? I don't know what her future path will be, but I am excited to find out. Ryan, again, dealing with the reckoning that she told Luke he was privileged. She pushed him to not just be a bystander, but he did nothing wrong in that situation. He tried to stop someone from stealing a car, tried to help someone get on a better path. Then when the cops showed up, he just tried to show them proof that that guy had been a car thief. He didn't do a single thing wrong. So Ryan pushing him to try and take a more active part, maybe it played a part in him being there, but Tavroff would have done it anyway. Tavroff would have not needed any excuse. It's not Ryan's fault because it wasn't Luke's fault. And I hate that Ryan's feeling that guilt, and I think the show is going to continue to tackle this problem through Luke in his recovery, because it's not going to just be a physical recovery, it's going to be a mental one too. And I know I was worried about him, because even surviving shooting, surviving police brutality, that is trauma that's always going to stay with you. That is a legacy that will always stay with you. unthinkable enough for people of colour in America and in the UK, but in America especially, to know that they have a much higher chance of being hurt by the police because of their skin colour. The fact that parents have to teach their children how to approach the police, whereas like when I was younger, it was like, oh, you know, if you're ever in trouble, go to a police officer, they'll help you. You know, that is fundamentally wrong. How I was taught about police should be how everyone is taught about police, although actually you should probably tell everyone to run the fuck away from it. No, I get ahead of myself, but I knew that he'd be dealing with the trauma of that having had it actually happen to him, as well as the trauma of just being shot. But I think he will definitely be dealing with helplessness. I think some people have suggested that he potentially might have some kind of superhero alias, I don't know, but he will be struggling with that, but also with the fact that when it came down to it, he made the choice that he didn't want to live in the world anymore, that he didn't want to be surrounded by this misery anymore, and he made the choice to go to his father in his eyes and go to peace, and now he's back. The fact that he didn't make a choice to come home to life, that hurts. It shows you, I think, the scale of the problem, that for Luke, it's the constant racism, the constant inequality against people of colour for no reason other than their colour, combined with every time they put down or put into prison a bad guy, another one crops up and another one comes up, and he loses people and he loses people and then he gets shot. The fact that Luke, you know, feels like he can relate to why Batman left. I still want to know where Bruce is and why he left. The fact that he chose to not live, did not want to live in this world anymore, shatters my heart, and I really hope he tells Mary or Ryan or someone that he felt like that so they can help him through it, because that is a dark place to be in, and I am scared for Luke and where he's going to go. I know earlier in the season I was like, Luke doesn't really have a plotline. I didn't mean this. I think in some ways it's quite a realistic place to be in, because the world we live in is a miserable place, let alone, and you know, that's what I often think looking at this world, and I don't even have to deal with half of the problems Luke does, because I don't face racism ever, obviously. So it shatters my heart to see that. I loved Ryan saying how much, you know, that they need Luke back, and Mary saying how much she needs Luke, and just, I love them. I still ship them, even though I know it's going to go nowhere. So my heart is breaking for Luke. I think it was a very important conversation they discussed. I think they discussed it well. I don't know, you know, if anyone else thinks they didn't, fair enough, but I think they did. If anyone is being racist in my comments, they will be blocked or hide you some channel. Yeah, so then we have Alice and Ocean, and I hope Ocean is going to be helping her with this search, because like she said, if you love me, you do this for me. You know, it's one thing to express your opinion. In a relationship, you shouldn't just go along with everything your partner says. You can say to them, I don't think you should do this, I don't think you okay that, etc, etc, whatever you want to say. But if Alice still chooses to do it despite hearing those words, you should stand by her side, and I hope Ocean will do that, and I hope that this will be, like Mary said, you know, if you'd known that love sooner, maybe you'd be a different person, that maybe this will be the point for Alice to be redeemed. Now, I don't need Alice to become sweetness and light and rainbows Beth, okay? That's never going to happen. That girl died a long time ago. But every single time one of our characters lets her walk away from them and then she kills an innocent person, like the man in the office who was just there for a therapy appointment, that is when I'm like, that blood is on their hands too, and I cannot cope with that. It hurt. It's like, Alice is an amazing character. She's phenomenal. I adore her. I agree that right now the show would not be the same without her, but they cannot keep having the blood on their hands of the people she kills. She needs to stop murdering innocent people. It's bad enough if she killed bad people, but, you know, just stop the innocent people murder. But I'm glad that she kind of, she actually went to warn Mary, which is interesting. I think she also just she did kind of go to see, they have this file on you, Mary, why do they have this file on you? What are they up to here with you? I am intrigued about why they would have a file on Mary, just because, unless they know she's in the Bat team, on paper she is just, you know, your standard socialite, rich girl, going to med school, you know, like she's kind of just standard privileged girl rather than anything interesting. So I am intrigued about why they have a file on Mary. Was that to help them get through to Kate? And of course Cersei hasn't come after Mary because she doesn't have any Kate memories. I think were she to start getting some of Kate's memories, then she would potentially end up going after Kate, but it's a lot. Going off to Mary, sorry. So for Alice, she kind of made that point with Mary, and Mary, I really respect Mary for saying that Alice deserves that love, because this is the woman that killed her mother, that made her mother choose between them, and that everything Mary did, everything Mary has suffered because of Alice and all the innocent people that Alice has hurt, Mary was still able to kind of find in her heart that bit of good spirit for her, which I really, really respect. And I think Alice took what she said to heart as much as she would never admit it. I am intrigued with where we're going with Alice's character, but, you know, if she hadn't have just killed that guy in Enigma's office, I would have been feeling more favourably towards her, but she did, and I'm stressed about that. And Enigma, I think from what they said, is the Riddler's daughter, so that is interesting. I feel like they wouldn't have brought that up unless he was going to come into it. Maybe he's going to be like coming back to figure out what happened to his daughter. I don't know. But yeah, this was a really, really good episode. It was a necessary episode. It was a painful episode in a lot of ways. It reflects the world we live in all the worst ways, but I think some of the resolution reflects the world we could live in if people did the right thing. So this was a hard episode to watch. I can't imagine how hard it must have been for people who do face this kind of racism and the fear of this kind of racism on a daily basis. A reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon, and thank you so much for watching.